to stay.
Hello and welcome back to Beyond Boards, a podcast dedicated to the actions and interests of skaters beyond skateboarding. My guest today, Natalie Porter, grew up in Ontario where she started skating in the mid-90s. As a young adult, she started connecting with women skateboarders both in Vancouver and Montreal, where she lived for a few years and studied to become a librarian. After a long break from skating, in March 2022 she launched Womxn Skate History, an online resource which catalogues and celebrates the visibility of female and non-binary skateboarders throughout history and into contemporary skate culture. Her new book, Girl Gangs, Zines and Powerslides, A History of Badass Women Skateboarders, published by ECW Press, will come out in September 2025. So here's my conversation with Natalie. I hope you'll enjoy it. So let's see. So from what I could find, I saw that you were born in 1977, that you were raised in a small town in Ontario. And so I saw that you have older brothers that kind of initiated you to skateboarding and snowboarding. And I think you actually started snowboarding and then came into skating a little bit later when you were like in your late teens or something. And so when you turned 18, you moved to Vancouver and you went to university there and connected with some local women skaters, and particularly with Michele Addelio from Antisocial.
Exactly. She's amazing. Legend.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you just mentioned you moved to Montreal in 2001, where you pursued your studies. And then you completed your master's degree and you defended like a thesis, which was like the first academic paper written from the perspective of women in skateboarding. I saw also, and we'll talk about all this throughout our conversation, but that you kind of stopped skating pretty much from 2008 till 2020. But even though you were still part of like the community and hanging out with skaters, but not actually like maybe skating a lot yourself during those years. Right. You've been a librarian since 2009. That's been like your job throughout all these years, and we'll talk about that, of course. And so I saw that you launched Womxn Skate History in March 2022, although you must have been working on it probably previously to it.
Obsessively.
Yeah. And so for the listeners, Womxn Skate History is an online resource which catalogues and celebrates the visibility of female and non-binary skateboarders throughout history and into contemporary skate culture. I also wanted to mention that you've written articles, essays, conducted interviews. You've presented at Slow Impact recently, at Stoke Sessions in 2023, I believe. You're also, and I didn't know that, you're a subject expert for the Smithsonian Museum in anticipation of a traveling exhibit, and I'm curious about that. I want to ask you about that. And one last thing I wanted to mention is your new book, which is coming out in September, so in a few months from now. It's called Girl Gangs, Zines and Powerslides, History of Badass Women Skateboarders. And it's going to be published by ECW Press. Excited to check that out. And yeah, I think that's pretty much what I could find. Wow. And there's a million other things that we could say, but that's just a very short recap.
Quentin, you nailed it. That's great. And it's so awesome to be part of this. And oh gosh, congrats on, you surpassed 100 podcasts.
Oh yeah,
so I feel very, very honored to be part of the legacy of this podcast. So
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's see. Let's do this very first one.
As the proud child of a librarian myself, I'd really love to hear from Natalie about how she became a librarian, what appeals to her about librarianship, and maybe in the way we ask skateboarders about their first board, I'd really love to know, Natalie, what was your first book?
Very cool. I'm assuming with the accent, is that Iain Borden?
No, it's Harry Meadley from Leeds.
He sounds so professional. Wow, Harry. Oh my gosh. Okay, so he wants the dirt on my journey to librarianship.
Yes, exactly.
I think that was destiny. I lived about 2 blocks away from a Carnegie library growing up, and so that was sort of a daily visit to the library. I had a good relationship with the librarians there. So it's definitely was a safe place for me. And also, I grew up in a family. We didn't have a TV. My parents never owned a television.
Okay.
We were, outside kids and hardcore bookworms.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. And then just growing up, I obviously had a passion for research and reading. And actually, when I came back from Montreal and I to Vancouver, I didn't have a job and sort of figuring things out. I got this really cool internship at Spartacus Bookstore in Vancouver. And if you heard of this bookstore, it's an anarchist bookstore.
Oh,
and
wow.
it serves often like homeless people in Vancouver's downtown east side. And so we set up this free computer system for them. And I helped organize their collection and sort of a collective organization. So it was pretty hardcore. But then my friend of mine who worked at the Vancouver Public Library is like, you should translate that skill set to the library. So I went back and got a second master's degree.
Oh, okay. Wow.
While I was working at VPL. Yeah, and so I was fortunate. I already had a foot in the door. I became a student librarian right off the bat and just eased into the role. And I worked through kind of climbing the ladder, I guess, to be a community librarian. And then I was the branch head at Carnegie Library in the downtown east side. So serving pretty much entirely a homeless population. And it was just a life-changing, incredible opportunity. It was a real privilege to work with this community. So always a bit kind of activist oriented, and I think librarianship is an honorable job.
Sure, absolutely.
Free public space, access to information. That's at the heart of it, and that really speaks to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a second part of Harry's
Yeah, it was
about
basically your first book. Yeah, kind of like, for skaters, we always ask skaters, what was your first board? Like, kind of, what was the entry point? And so, do you remember maybe, I guess probably the very first book is hard, but like one book that really stuck out,
Yes. Actually, this is funny. This book series is going to be made into a graphic novel series. There was an author named Tamora Pierce, and she had written this series called the Alana series. And I remember I was maybe 11 or 12, and I liked fantasy. I liked, Tolkien, C.S. Lewis. But this was the first time a whole series was entirely about sort of a female warrior. She had to disguise herself to get into the, soldiering school. It was hilarious, but it really was like, wow, I can see myself being this really cool warrior.
Sure.
So the Alana series, that was like, just kind of blew my mind. I love those books.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks, Harry. And I don't know, Harry and I actually met at San Diego State University for the Stoke sessions, and I remember being impressed by his presentation, and we kind of hit it off. So thanks, Harry.
I got to meet him myself in person in Bordeaux in October, and we've been corresponding ever since. And I think he just completed his PhD, didn't he? Like just a few weeks ago or something?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah, shout out to Harry. Congrats.
Yeah, congratulations, Harry.
Good.
Yeah. Must feel nice. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. This next one I have is from Annie Guglia. I hope I'm not butchering her name too much.
You nailed it. Annie.
So she said, looking back on your time in Montreal with the skateboarders, is there an experience, lesson, memory, moment, or quote, something that left a lasting imprint on who you are today, either as a skater, a historian, or simply as a person?
Oh, Annie. So Annie is our Canadian Olympian street skater. So she's just a legend. And her generation, when I was in Montreal, she was still like, I think a teenager when I was part of the skateboarders crew, but then she became part of it and represented the skateboarders. But Montreal was a really incredible time because I was part of this crew of women. And I think with the harsh winters, we kind of really had to rally together and do creative projects. So there was a woman, Mathilde Pigeon, and she developed a website, and then this crew came about, and she was recording videos, and Also, Erica Dubé was creating a zine called Armpit. So we were a really proactive group of skaters. And so obviously, like, I was doing this thesis and it was easy. I could interview my friends, this crew. And of all the people in my thesis program, like, some people really struggled to get like a passion or something to write about. But for me, it was just like, it was obvious.
Yeah.
And I just remember this one moment. We were having the skate session. We were kind of taking over the streets. Like, we were a proper gang and we had presence, and just like, some people were kind of cheering us into the side of like, it was like a traffic jam, and they were like, woo, like fist bumping, and other people were like, some elderly people were like heckling us, like, get off the streets, what are you doing? Like, but yeah, we just felt so powerful. And we had all kinds of fun sessions. We would climb up to the top of Montreal Hill and just bomb down it. And it was really fun to be part of a gang.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
How did you connect with all these skaters at the time? Because we're talking 2001. That's long before any social media. So, like, how did you first connect with skaters over there?
It was, I think, thanks to Slam City Jam. If you're familiar with the contest series in Vancouver.
I heard about it.
In 1998, actually, Michelle Pizzell and a group of us girls convinced the organizers to have the first female street contest as part of the festival. They shoved us like Sunday morning, like super early. But a woman named Louise, I will totally mangle her last name, Hénault-Ethier. She was a pretty competent street and actually vert skater too. She had come out for the contest, and I think that's how we kind of got to know each other. And so she was my first contact when I arrived in Montreal, and so she just opened up this community for me. Yeah, so I kept in touch with her. But it was, thanks to Slam City Jam kind of bringing these random girls together.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And also that was horrifying. I competed in the first 2 years, and I realized I just get like, I'm like one of those little pygmy goats that gets paralyzed. All these people, I did not thrive in the contest scene. So that was not for me, but it was fun to be part of it and, skate beside Alyssa Steamer and Jaime Reyes. And
oh, yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, but not my strength.
Okay, well, actually, this next question is kind of linked to Slam City Jam. Let's see.
Oh.
Hi, Natalie. Thanks again for all you do. Slam City Jam in Vancouver was one of the biggest events in the late 90s. So many people and pros traveled there every year. Do you have a favorite memory or interesting story from those times?
Was that Rosie?
No, that's Lisa Whitaker from Meow.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
You're good. This is funny because I interact with a lot of people through Instagram, and so their voices are Lisa Whitaker. Oh my goodness. So she also competed at Slam City Jam back in the day. But I think just the process of being part of convincing the organizers to host it in the first place. That was kind of empowering because if I recall, they needed guarantee of like 20 or 30 girls to sign up. And so we pulled it off. But just that whole weekend in Vancouver was so energetic and powerful. Like we just took over the city and just made all these great contacts. And as I mentioned, like it led to, further communities and opportunities to travel. It was a really special time. And I don't remember the trajectory of how or why it sort of phased out. And but for Vancouver, it was just such an incredible gathering of people and energy, and there's after parties and all kinds of, I'm sure, debauchery. And also inspiring to actually witness these women who are sort of at the top of their game, competing and thriving and seeing people cheer for them. Like, I think the first year, it was so early in the morning, people were hungover, they kind of stumbled if they were, aware of the event. But the next year, I think it got some footage. The 411 video magazine decided to give it a bit of some limelight. So that was great.
Sure.
And kind of help push forward the scene. And also, I think that was the first time I received a zine from Villa Cola. A group of them had come up, and Lisa Whitaker was was part of that network as well. And that was the first time I'd held a tactile zine and like all about female skaters, primarily in San Diego, but to see like, oh yeah, they're getting their shit together and like creating cool things. And that was really inspiring to see. So I think, that was all kind of circulating around Slam City Jam.
Awesome.
And shout out to Lisa, what a legend. Meow skateboards. I'm riding Vanessa Torres' Meow board right now, and gotta represent. She's amazing.
All right, let's see.
What got you into archiving women's history? And thank you for doing it, because I've been learning a lot.
That was Jaime Reyes.
What? No way!
Who was just introduced as a Skateboard Hall of Famer a couple days ago.
Yes.
Congratulations, Jaime.
Oh, man. So cool. Yeah, again, got to see her at Slam City Jam and sort of be in her aura.
Yeah.
Wow. Congrats to Jaime. That's so well-deserved. And like I remember having, advertisements of her and Thrasher features cut out on my walls. And yes, actually, part of why I've been doing this archival work was like, this content is so few and far between sometimes, especially in sort of the broader magazines like Thrasher. You kind of have to really like savor them and like, and cherish them. So I just have been collecting them over time, kind of keeping track of names and influential people. I'd wanted to write a book and create a book after my thesis in 2003, and I'd pitched it. I've technically been pitching this book since 2014 actively and been rejected so many times. But it fuels you. And also kind of feeling like, hey, there's a bit of what we call like archival silence around this fascinating history of really interesting women and non-binary skaters who've kind of persevered, kind of overcome adversity, and just their love of skateboarding kind of overrides, whether or not they've been, glorified in the industry. So I just really admire that and wanted to make sure that someone was tracking it. And I've got the skill set as a librarian to do it. And obviously, like, my website's not fantastic. I'm not a web designer.
No, I think it's great. I think it's awesome.
It's got old school like vibes. I think in library school I learned how to do a little bit of coding and create a website, and super basic. But I was like, why not? I put it out there, like it's
It feels authentic. It feels handmade, kind of. I don't know.
It truly is.
I like it. I think it's cool.
And I was thinking as a librarian, like we're all about access to information, and I really shouldn't be hoarding all of these, zines and interviews and things I've just been collecting for fun and hopefully for a book. But so I just thought I'd just put it out there, share the love. And with the Olympics recently, like sometimes I get the sense that the media kind of suggests that this is out of nowhere. Like the progress of girls is rapidly improved. Like there's some badass like skaters back in the day, like throughout the whole time, that just hadn't received recognition or footage or didn't have the right connections or something. So that it kind of grates on me. Like, obviously the Olympians today are mind-blowing. They're incredible, but there's context, and I appreciate context.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm so glad. Skateboarding Hall of Fame, just recently I feel like they've kind of stepped up a little bit with acknowledging some core women, like the previous year with Anita Tessenson, and just been so many amazing people that deserve recognition. So I'm doing the work.
Well, you just mentioned this person, Louise Hénault-Ethier.
Yes.
So I got a question from her as well. It was kind of along the same lines as what Jaime just asked you about, but I'll just read it to you because there's kind of a second part that you can kind of develop on. So she said, I'd be curious to know what motivated Natalie to start compiling the past and current history of female skateboarding, and if she could say which is the best female crew she has encountered. I'm gonna get in trouble with this second question.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, Louise, so much gratitude for our friendship. Yeah, she's a very cool person. And yeah, there was a chapter in that thesis when I was living in Montreal about women's skateboard history. And back in 2003, I think, yeah, so Iain Borden had his book out, and Becky Beale had a sort of a thesis or an essay on masculinity in skateboarding. So those were kind of the two leading academics.
Mm-hmm.
And I was vaguely aware of like Skateboarder magazine in the 70s. They'd often do a Who's Hot feature. And I actually wrote to a freestyler named Russ Howell, who's like kind of a legend. He was selling a CD-ROM where he digitized old skateboarder issues.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and so that's how I got to see some of these old issues and really pore over them and just like constantly feeling like, what the fuck? Like I have no idea about this legacy, and it really grated on me. And then also as a 90s skater, like it really bugged me. Like you kind of felt like, oh, I'm the only one out here. Like you felt so isolated, but it was false. Like there was all these women throughout the 80s as well that had barely been recognized, and girl gangs throughout the 80s that I just found so fascinating as I started to kind of really dig in and track them down.
Mm-hmm.
There was a hint of rage of like, why don't I get to know who my heroes are and have mentors and feel like I'm part of something rich. And then I'd had some conversations with random people at the skate park as well. Some dudes that it kind of bothered me. This one guy implied that women didn't start skateboarding until like the battle at the barracks. That was like 2019 when the barracks had a women's content. Like to them, it had to come from a source that was, valid in the industry. And I was like, that's bullshit. Like, that's not when women's involvement began.
Yes,
it's way back, and so having some funny conversations. There's a bit of rage, but I think I've mellowed over the years, but it's still it's still inspiring to
fueling the fire, kind of.
Keeping it going and. But as far as my favorite crew, like Skirtboarders was definitely a special crew. I think at max there was about like 20 of us at one point.
Oh, okay.
It was
That's
really fun.
Solid crew right there, yeah.
Yeah, and then when I came back to Vancouver, same sort of situation. Technically I arrived there 96 and having this fun crew at a skate park that opened in 97 in Burnaby, and great memories. So it's a toss-up. I should also give a shout out to I don't know if you'll have questions from them. Erica Canast and Rhianon Bader. We were in the Majestic Unicorn Motorcycle Club. So we were a skateboarding / motorcycle crew.
Oh, wow, okay.
And that was next level. That was so fun.
Awesome. Okay, this one is from Iain Borden.
Okay.
Let's see, he said, making new histories often means finding new sources of information, especially as, for example, skate magazines and videos in the past have often downplayed or excluded female writers altogether. How do you go about discovering new people and scenes? Where do you start looking? I thought it was an interesting question, yeah. Where does it start?
Thank you, Iain. Yeah, and again, thanks to Iain's legacy as an academic skateboard historian, it was really special. Where do I start? I've got a thing for zines. Like they are primary documents. They're gritty. They're raw. They're they don't hold back. So that's been a great source. And since I've been collecting them for a while, I do have I have my own collection, and then I hear about other zines and find digitized scans online. I'm actually really grateful that I didn't put out a book like 10 years ago, because you can access so much more these days, and I can seek out the people who created the zines and they send them to me. So that's where I think I've really scored. People's stories unearthed through zines. But also, this Instagram thing, I was really resistant to being part of social media. I had my own account. I think I joined October 2020.
Okay.
Sort of late in the game, but there's just so many wonderful people and old time collectors who've got old magazines, and of course Kevin Marks at the Look Back Library. He's always got his eye open for me. He'll send me like this random ad or find some magazine, and I think now that I build a bit of a reputation, people kind of like, oh, that weird librarian, Natalie. So, I'll send it to her and see what she can do with it. Or, sometimes I'm in the loop of, created a bio on that particular person, but once in a while it's like, oh, wow, like that's fresh. And also Facebook, it's weird to be doing a shout out to Facebook, but a lot of the old time skaters are on there. They have their profiles on there, so I can reach out that way and sort of look through their photos like a creep and just say like, hey, tell me the story about this one. And but that's been a journey of building my confidence to reach out to people, because it's for a while, you have probably experiences too, like this imposter syndrome, like you're like, who am I to be like,
hitting people up about this project. Sure.
Exactly. Like, I was not the most talented skater, but I'm just a curious person. And I think being a librarian, it's got a bit of a cachet. Like, I think I'm pretty approachable. My intentions are honorable. I'm not selling anything with the exception of a book now, but like that was never, like, I'm not hustling product or, so people are usually like, I think I'm a trustworthy person. So it's a combination of my librarian skills. Like I get really obsessed. Like I'll remember, oh yeah, there was this interview and I remember it from 97 and I have to find it. I will not stop, like freaking relentless. I'm a beast.
So for example, when you remember, like you just said, like if you remember one interview from, let's say 97 or whatever, like how do you track that down? Do you hit up Kevin Marks? Do you hit up some other people? Do you have like, I assume you must have contacts like Kevin who are collectors who might have access to old magazines and that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Like, is that how you usually do it?
Definitely. That's part of it. Also, like, I'm fortunate, Vancouver Public Library has collected a lot of magazines. Like they just used to collect a lot of them. So I can go down in the reference section and just like take my sweet time and flip through. Like I have spent insane amounts of hours just like going through magazines, sometimes weeping with frustration. So it's a combination of just sitting down with it. Sometimes there's a few tricks with Google, like figuring out how to find a PDF or a scan. And like recently there was a guy on Facebook who had digitized all of the French magazine called No Way.
Oh yeah, and, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and so I went through all of them and found like a super rad interview on Stephanie Person, who's the first Black female pro skater, and that was a score. Yeah. So it's usually I'm trying it independently because I'm kind of stubborn, and I'll try to track it down, and then I'll try to reach out and
then you'll knock on some doors. Yeah. That's funny you mentioned Stephanie, because I did an interview a few months ago with Jacob Rosenberg, who was a filmmaker and who is a filmmaker, and he did the Plan B videos in the 90s, and he started before he was a filmmaker. He started shooting photos, and his first ever photo published was in Norway, and it was a photo from Stephanie Person's interview.
Hit me up. I want it.
I'll try to track it down for you, but it's I think I saw it first on Instagram when you shared about it a few days ago about Stephanie Person. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Like I just connected the dots, and it's. I find it interesting because I see so many parallels between what you do and what I do, which, I mean, it's not exactly the same thing, of course, but there's definitely some like research and knocking on doors and, soliciting people and stuff. So there's definitely some parallels.
I never wanted to do that. I didn't want to talk to people. I'm an introvert. Like I get excited talking about skateboarding, but that's not my comfort zone at all. But I realized, like when I saw photos of KZ Zapata in the 80s, in Thrasher, and I was just like, there's nothing out there about them. And I was like, and my curiosity is like I need to know. I have to know their story. And so it forced me to get out of my shell and cold email these people, and it's been fun. So it's a confidence builder as well.
Yeah. Let's see. This one is from Kristin Ebeling.
Awesome.
She said, "What are some of your favorite women's skate history photos you've come across? Who is in it? What is the backstory? Like where it was published, the photographer, etc."
Well, yeah, Kristin, thanks for the question. She's incredible, and I've worked with Skate Like a Girl. It's just such a legacy. They're celebrating 25 years. That's so cool. Yeah. In terms of photos, let's think. There's actually a couple photos that came out. There's a video, sort of the first all-female video called Skaters.
Oh, yeah.
That came out, and I believe the director, Ethan Fox, took it upon himself. Like he had been really inspired by 1970s skaters. Like he was an older person in the 80s, but and he really had felt like that women deserved, more recognition. So he had tracked down Joanne Gillespie, Carabeth Burnside, just a whole crew of women that were forming this women's skateboard club at the time, and Equal Time was their zine. And he got in touch with them and pulled together this video. And he had also taken a couple pretty cool photos, some stills. There's some that he took of Sasha Clark skating street, and she's just like a total legend for women's street skating. And he took a group shot at the Powell Skate Zone. That was an indoor park. Just all of these girls, like women and girls. There was Patty Hoffman, who was like a pro skater in the 70s. There was Carabeth Burnside. Then there was even like a little girl who was part of the crew, just all lined up. And I know they got that image into Thrasher in the back page in sort of like the kind of the junk section. But I thought it was a really cool photo. Like, I don't know, the quality wasn't great, a little blurry, but just to see, early 90s, this lineup of awesome women, that was really inspiring. And also, again, infuriating, because that video that came out, none of the magazines reviewed it.
Yeah.
I know they had like a launch, and the local community was supportive, but there was no like, oh my gosh, this video is incredible. 20 women in that video throughout the 90s, which ended up being a real kind of a dead zone in terms of publicity in mainstream skateboard industry.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful. And I am mindful, like, there are key men that have helped throughout this. And I hope that comes through in my book. Like, I'm not shitting on them at all.
No,
like,
sure.
We need, it's a community that makes this happen. And sometimes you need people in the industry, some stronger voices to say like, hey, it's time for, equal contest pay or more celebration of magazines. And so Ethan Fox is one of those persons that I'm grateful for. Yeah, but ultimately it is the women building community and making shit happen.
Yeah.
That's like,
Sure.
But we need people like that as well. So yeah, thanks Kristin for that question. Kind of just like improvising here, but that group photo was like, wow, yeah, that is so cool.
Yeah. Do you have it scanned? I'd love to check it out. If you have it, I'd love to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, there is
Is it on the website?
Bio that the bio I wrote for Skate Hers.
Okay.
Includes the photo.
And is that video online as well?
Yeah, it's on YouTube somewhere.
Okay, I'll try to find it.
It's not like the quality of it. It's 90s, like so much like strobe light effects. Like it's quite jarring to watch, but
it's like a historical document. I mean, it's, that in itself makes it worthwhile. Yeah,
totally.
So you said the guy who made that video, Ethan Fox was his name?
Yeah, and I don't think he had any financial backing. He had a distributor, but it was really like he just brought it upon himself to like, this is cool what's happening. They've got a crew, they've got their zine. Yeah, and that was part of the dream actually of Bonnie Bluin. She was sort of the first columnist at Thrasher. Yes. She wanted a video. She wanted, contests for girls to be included, to have their own division. She had this vision that she, wrote about in Thrasher, and they made it happen. And it deserves so much more celebration than what it gets. Like, yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right, let's do this one.
Hello, Natalie. First of all, congrats on everything, and thank you so much for everything you do. And my first question is, you've been doing a lot of research on the history of women skateboarding. Can you share some of the oldest archives or historical moments that you have come across? And second, is there a story, a skater, or a piece of information that you've been trying to find for a while, but you haven't uncovered yet? Something that you still digging, but there's nowhere to be found. Maybe we can help you. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Norma.
Yes, Norma. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Norma, gosh, she's got so much integrity, with her work and just being freelance. Deepest respect for Norma, as you know, because we were part of her podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I love those questions. Okay, so 1959.
Oh, wow, really?
I found this photo. It was I think it was the Pasadena Independent News, of a woman named Lee Zaremba and her, maybe a boyfriend or a buddy. They were skating in tandem, and she's wearing this crinoline skirt and just classic 1950s, and it's in this newspaper.
Okay.
And then there's some quote about how exciting it was that girls were also taking part of this new fad skateboarding, and even bailing and getting, grazed by the concrete. And I was like, oh my gosh, 1959. And, the girls are out there, tumbling on the concrete, taking it up.
Mm-hmm.
That was gold. I think I was going through newspapers.com, the database, just clawing through it. Yeah, so that's definitely the oldest photo I've ever seen of a woman on a skateboard. And the fact that they called it skateboard, sometimes they came up with other random names for it. Yeah, so that was a special article and find.
Oh yeah. Wow.
That was crazy. I'd love to find that woman. Perhaps it's tricky because
Could you find who it was on the photo or no?
No. Well, yeah, I had this name, but that of course, that generation often changing their last name. That's part of the
difficulty,
the struggle and the challenge. Oh, I love it when I do kind of connect the dots, but that particular one I have yet to connect with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Norma's second part. There's a few that I would really just kind of love to get the backstory on. Since we were talking about Bonnie Bluin.
Oh yeah.
She had an article, the Sugar and Spice article. It was April 86 for Thrasher. And she mentioned the 3 or 4 other girls that she knew at the time who were skateboarding. And I've contacted all of them except one, a woman named Trish Wright with a W. And she apparently was a vert skater. Bonnie mentioned that she noticed that she had, the tan lines with her knee pads. So she knew okay, this skater's legit. Pennsylvania, or I think she was Pennsylvania based.
Okay.
And I've reached out to guys who've written zines from the East Coast of America just to see, have you heard of this person? Because I have had luck finding photos, mainly zines. There was one, Cindy Pendergrast, that I wrote about her at the Closer Skateboarding mag.
Yeah, I remember.
So again, zines have been really helpful. But Trish Wright, nothing, no bite. I've just but that's just one of I'm sure many. There's, but I've been fortunate with some miraculous kind of connections coming along, and But off the top of my head, I would love to hear from her.
No, for sure. Yeah, it must feel nice when it happens, when you've been trying to find this person and then out of the blue, it kind of this connection materializes. Must feel nice.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well,
actually, speaking of Norma connection to Mexico, I had always wanted to find, so Vicky Vickers, 70s skater, had an interview and she was sponsored by Pepsi. She'd gone to Mexico and just one line, she had like an 8-page interview and just mentioned, oh, there's this prodigy named Stephanie in Mexico, 1979. And I'm like, there is no way in hell, like I'm going to find this Stephanie from Mexico. and then I think someone on Instagram had posted about Sarisa. It's like was a company in Mexico that sponsors skaters. There was Stephanie Fernandez. And I knew it was the same one because it was all aligned with this Pepsi demo. So I had the name, I had some photos. I created a post on the website, put it out there. And then maybe 2 years later, I got an email from Stephanie's niece who was living in Sweden and her boyfriend was a skater. And one night they decided to Google this girl's crazy aunt, found the bio, got in touch, and I got to interview Stephanie Fernandez, who's now living, I think, near Orcas Island or somewhere down on the west coast of the States. Like, what the heck? And this happens all the time. Like, it'll be That's 2 amazing. Years after I've posted, and I get some random message like, oh, I Googled my name in the night, and I found your post on me. Like, what?
That's wild.
Actually, back to Iain Borden's question. It's partially of, like, the individuals themselves finding themselves and being like, hey, that's me. That's my mom. That's my aunt. And, like, things just coming together. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like you're kind of planting seeds with the website, and then eventually it kind of blossoms into further connections, and you know, it's wild. Yeah, I love that.
It's neat. Like, just I see you. I know you're part of this. Put it out there, and then magic happens.
All right, let's do this next one.
Hi, Natalie. It's Kevin from the Look Back Library. You have been in attendance at 2 out of the 3 Slow Impact seminars in Arizona in the last couple of years. I met you in 2024 when you gave a breakout paper on women in zines and skateboard magazines. That was one of the highlights of that weekend for me. I was curious what sort of highlights you have had and can pinpoint from your time at Slow Impacts.
Kevin, you rule! Oh my gosh. I remember when he first messaged me on Instagram, he's just like, are you a librarian? A real librarian? And I'm like, yes! And we just hit it off instantly, and it was so cool, like, meeting him at Slow Impact. Like, obviously, like, that was definitely a highlight. Just, I love his work.
Yeah, it's rad.
So rad. And that was really special to be part of that event, because I didn't mention, like, I live in a pretty remote place. Like, to get here from Vancouver, it's about 6 to 8 hours driving, because on the coast, it's so rugged. There's mountains, there's inlets, and you have to take 2 ferries. So I live in like a kind of a remote place, and I don't actually have a crew up here of skateboarders. Like, there's, I think, 2 young women. I've met one other woman who skates who's kind of around my age, but she doesn't live here full time.
Okay.
So I'm kind of just out here by myself with my husband, of course, but like up north. So coming to Slow Impact and being surrounded by all these nerds, like skater nerds, and everyone like was so supportive and
excited
I've mentioned, engaged, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are my people. Like, it was so fun, and I was nervous going down there, and so it's my annual social
skate event.
And I got to reunite with Jessie Van Roechoudt. Well, Jessie Van Roechoudt, that's what I call her. And from way back, I hadn't seen her for years. And it's been a bit of a reunion experience. Rhianon Bader came over from Germany this year. And just a special experience. And I love how, the organizers just really, like, they don't hold back, like looking at, you know, skateboarding in Palestine and genocide and what can we do, and like activism. And I loved it, like really thought-provoking sessions. And I'm so glad that exists. Definitely recommend if you could come down. Yeah, but I had a blast. And actually, Kevin and I, we went out for Ethiopian food. That was super fun. And just having a good chat with someone who really, like, who gets me. That was great. That whole weekend is just a blast. So
yeah, I'm sure. So did you go to, because I think this year was the third year they did it, right? So did you go to the two last ones?
Two last ones. So
2024 and 25.
Exactly. I did the sort of a paper, like whirlwind paper on 80s and 90s zines that were pretty special. And yeah, I got pretty excited. Like I get excited. And I think people sort of experience that energy and seem to appreciate it. And then this last time Kyle Beachy had me do a test run of my book, one of the chapters, which is awesome. Especially, like, it was pretty funny. And again, like, it was packed out. There was a lot of people. And
so did you read it in front of the crowd, basically?
Yeah, I read it in front of people.
Oh, that must have been a little nerve-wracking. But fun, I'm sure.
And Cole Nowicki was in the audience, and he started chanting, like, buy the book, buy the... And, oh man, I was so insane. And so yeah, I had to, like, when I got home, I just had to recuperate from all of the
this
stimulus,
energy and
it's so funny, so much fun.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I hope I can go one day. I mean, it's far from France, but I'd love to go one year for sure. Well, you just mentioned this guy who asked the next question, but I don't remember if he says his name, so you'll try to guess if he doesn't. Let's see.
Hi, Natalie. Cole here. An incredible amount of research goes into your work for women's skate history and into, of course, Girl Gang, Zines and Powerslides, which I just finished reading the Guglia of a week or so ago, and it is fantastic. Make sure to pick up a copy once it comes out in September. This is a directive aimed at all the listeners at home. And to that end, I was wondering if you could share a bit about how you store and organize all that information you dig up in your research. Do you have any special processes, any do's and don'ts, things of that nature? Thank you.
Cool. Simple magic. I'll reciprocate. Subscribe. Follow. Yes. Simple magic. So good.
Yes, it is really good.
And I'm also I have to put this out there. I say this every time because Cole had his book published by ECW Press. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm so grateful he did because, I had submitted my pitch. I think at that point I was up to 12 to 15 rejections at that point. Wow. Okay. And then I saw that Cole's book came out. I'm like, independent Canadian publisher. Like, I'll put it out there. And, thank goodness I did. Like, oh my gosh. And he's just been such a great supporter. I've written an article for his platform as well.
Yeah,
and just,
I saw that. Yeah. About Warble, right?
Yeah. My Valentine's.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. It was funny. It was cool. Yeah.
I think it was another excuse to rant about Red Dragons in the 90s and so thank you, Cole. Like, and I've super enjoyed his writing as well. His latest book of essays is
he's a talented writer. Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, just magic. I do have a system.
Let's hear it.
Information. Yeah, so it started out. I systematically, if a magazine, say the National Skateboard Review in the 70s is all digitized. And so I go through every issue and I have spreadsheets that I tag the skater that was featured, the photo that's included, and go through it. And I've done that for Thrasher, Transworld for what I can get, various zines. It just anytime I can systematically go through an issue, I'll note this down. And then when it comes time to like writing the bio about the person, I can do a quick, Control F and find and just pull everything that I have.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I have folders of everything that I've scanned, and I tag all my photos. I'm not like super hardcore. Some of it's pretty loose, but I try to make sure the name of the skater, the photographer, the source, the date. And then it's just easier for me to compile all this stuff because I have a lot. And I have started to, put it all on a, separate, I save it repeatedly and make sure it's not just all on my laptop and
sure,
external hard drive or whatever. Because I do get nervous about it.
If it gets lost somehow. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then from there, I create the bio, and I consider the website sort of a living document because, pronouns change, people's paths change. I had a person, I won't divulge who, but they had asked me to take down their bio because they're living in the States. They are not from America, and didn't want sort of
any trouble,
a trail, and so and happy, and I said, get back to me when when there's a new president or when when things get more stable, and gladly put it back up there. So it's a living document. I'm constantly adding new content, and I'm so glad I did that because obviously as a librarian, I wanted a book. That's sort of the ultimate thing, but
sure.
That fixes history and time. Like then that's a sort of a done deal, but things are evolving and there's new articles I'm stumbling across and photos. So I just get to keep adding. And then I have little folders on my computer of all the individual people I've posted on and just keep building it. Mm-hmm. It's so fun. It's really fulfilling.
Assembling a huge puzzle kind of.
Yeah, and also like trying to weave together stories, how people are connected how they influenced each other over the years. And there are certain things that I do keep confidential. I talk a little bit about it, sexual violence, and there's an industry, it's a male-dominated industry. And then sometimes it's hard to celebrate that because there's people who are kind of iconic male pros and I have dirt on them. And it's like, cringe when they get, when you kind of know, hey, that person really hurt someone or, it's a funny one, but I'm just try to be very respectful of what the individual skater wants to celebrate. And it's a living document. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but definitely there's a system back here, a very nerdy system.
Yeah. And what about like basically the printed magazines or zine, like the material objects that you do have at your house? Like, how do you organize that? Because we talked about like you scanning and but like how do you store? How do you keep all the physical, tangible product kind of?
Oh, it's terrible. I'm a bad librarian. I have my collection and sort of, if it's kind of archival, like I do own some handwritten letters from Bonnie Bluen that she wrote to Thrasher magazine. And I have zines that are, they're not in direct sunlight, so that's about it. But I don't have special archival boxes or anything.
Yeah, okay.
It's people at the Smithsonian would shame me. At some point, maybe I'll donate to a bigger institution. But right now, in the United States, like I wouldn't hand it over there. I'm up in Canada. I'd maybe figure out some other opportunity. It's a tricky one. I'm not going to get political, but
I understand.
But someday there'll have to be a system of like bequeathing all of this to somebody.
And is it large, this collection, or is it kind of, can it fit like, I guess, how do you say, like a shelf?
Yeah, I've got I'd say a couple shelves worth, and then the closet behind me, there's lots of stuff in there.
Okay.
Yeah, but I suspect Lisa Whitaker has a pretty good stash, and there's like, I know there's other people out there who've been hoarding things. Actually, just this weekend, my friend Amy Mattis, she actually wrote a book called Late September. She was starting to go through her collection and found some SG magazine that was Skate, Surf, Snow Girl in the early 2000s.
Okay.
It's a pretty cool
Didn't
magazine.
know about that
and
one. Okay,
there's some interviews of skaters and ads in there. So she sent me some images, and it's cool. But I think predominantly digital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just asking that also because I remember interviewing Tim Anderson, who does the Bob Shirt. I don't know if you're familiar with his work. It's Bob Shirt is basically video interviews of skaters, of iconic pro skaters from the 90s, mostly from the 90s. And he collects boards and also random kind of artifacts from skateboarding culture from the 90s. So like T-shirts, old shoes, DVDs, VHS tapes, and all that kind of stuff. So I think he collected quite a big amount of stuff, and I think at some point it was occupying a large portion of either his garage or whatever, some areas in his house. And I was wondering if it was kind of the same with you, and if it was kind of all over the house, or if it was kind of confined into one little area, or if it was like.
Well, I'm dependent on people like him, but I keep it pretty tight. I don't collect boards and paraphernalia necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, my husband's also he's a minimalist. He would not appreciate it.
Yeah, he would not be super stoked on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta keep it tight. But I do have my zines are special.
This person a few times. Let's see.
Hey Nat, it's Rhianon here. I know you've traveled around a lot of the world with your skateboard over the years, and I'm wondering, what was your favorite skateboarding adventure that you've been on?
Rhianon
Bader from I think she still has Skatistan, is she? Or Good Push?
The Good Push, yeah, kind of there, and connected for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Super bud, best friends. Like, we were living in a second floor of a house kind of a couple blocks away from Antisocial, and like, I think it was 2006 or 7 or something. And skater buddy. Thanks for the question. Yeah, traveling and skateboarding is the best. And I suspect late 90s, early 2000s, traveling was especially cool as a female skater, because when you go to a new country or a new city and you see another girl who skates, like, oh my gosh,
best friends immediately.
Mind blowing. So I think 1999 I was doing a semester overseas at Charles University in Prague. And I had ulterior motives to go to Prague and do this semester abroad. Because there was Stalin, the plaza.
Stalin Plaza, sure.
So I wanted to skate there, and literally, like, immediately, all of the other students part of my program, none of them met any locals. Like, there was no connection with local kids.
I guess it's hard probably with Czech. The language barrier must be quite difficult. Yeah.
Totally, but like, no problem when you're a skateboarder. Like, I went to Stalin. Instantly met 2 girls who skated. It was awesome. And like, by the end of the summer, after the program had ended, I was invited to the one girl's grandparents' cottage in Bohemia. And then I went to a contest, a street contest, and skated. I think I was the only girl in the contest, and went to a skateboard camp as well. Just went for it. And there's pros and cons as a female skater in the 90s, some kind of unfortunate, creepy situations, but I still had a blast, and really it was the highlight of meeting Kate and Lucy. I'm not sure how it's in Czech, but
sure.
Yeah, actually, and I ended up finding that girl again because she was featured on a Czech skateboard magazine. She got the cover in an interview, and it must have been 98 or 99.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think I was on, I can't remember how I found the magazine, but and tracked her down. So but that was a special, because that was like just sort of my first big overseas trip. And there was the contest Mystic Cup, so we got to see some buddies.
Sure.
Rick McCrank and a bunch of like Vancouver friends had come out. So that was the best. That was so fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know you had spent. So how long were you in Prague for? Was it just a semester, like a year?
It was just a summer semester, so
Summer
maybe
semester. Okay.
2-3 months. Like,
But yeah, I mean, it's at that time it must have left a long, lasting impression. And
yeah, 99.
That's awesome.
But yeah, kept going from there. Barcelona, and then a friend in Scotland went up to like Livy Park, and we traveled around Europe. Carrie Ridge Pharma is her name, and yeah, so many adventures. It's best way to travel.
yeah, for sure. Okay, this one is from Jen Sookfong Lee. So from ECW Press, who is publishing your book, as you just mentioned earlier, and who also published Cole's book not long ago. So she said, Natalie, how do you think your work as a librarian helped you when you were searching for the women and non-binary skaters who were largely ignored by mainstream media? I know it gave you sleuthing skills, but do you think it gave you something more intangible, like tenacity?
Oh yeah, thank you. Well, thank you, Jen, for taking a risk on my pitch for ECW. Eternally grateful. Yeah, I'm obsessive. Like it's crazy. Like I really get kind of fixated, and I think that is definitely part of the profession. When someone comes to the reference desk and there's something they want, I'll take it next level. Like. Screw AI. That's crap. Go to your library, because like we'll take it all the way. And there's the example. There's a chapter where I had heard about some footage of Georgina Matthews. She's a New Zealand Maori skater, and I knew that she'd been interviewed and featured. She was part of the Galas, which is the shoe brand for girls that came out of Australia in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
so I knew that. Yeah, there was a Maori skate TV program, and a university had this digitized in their collection, but there were so many barriers. They kept stonewalling me. They wouldn't allow me access to this footage. And I was livid. Like, I want to see these interviews. And I worked it. Like, I found the people in the department through LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. I emailed them. I just was like relentless, trying to like appease to their librarian background. Mm-hmm. And finally, I don't know, I got in touch with a skateboarder who worked at that library who was Maori. And he helped me contact this production company that was like out of business. I got through to the woman who's like, yes, your website is exactly where we want this footage to be publicly showcased, instead of like hidden behind all of these institutional barriers preventing people and Georgina from seeing her own footage as a young person being interviewed and skating. So yeah, if you say no to a librarian, oh my God, don't do it. We'll find a way. Yeah, that was probably the longest battle, but I wouldn't give up.
That's awesome.
Yep, tenacity, perseverance. Yep.
I have a few questions from Michael Burnett.
Sweet.
So he said, Dear Natalie, what women skater has inspired you the most with their work and presence off the board?
Well, Michael, thank you. He's surprising ally, Thrasher magazine.
Yeah,
what the heck? That was so cool. And yeah, we had super fun chatting it up. So grateful for that. And off the board, I don't want to repeat myself sometimes, but I love what Lisa Whitaker is doing with Meow, because there's so many skaters who deserve like that sponsorship, that helping them with footage, and just and she's just got such a long legacy with skateboarding. So I do talk about her quite a bit, and there's a section in the book dedicated to Lisa. Okay. But also I'm grateful for folks like Dr. Indigo Willing.
Sure.
I really admire people who they had a childhood dream of taking up skateboarding, and whatever social barriers came along that prevented them from feeling it. And then finally saying, hell no, I want to do this in your 40s or whatever, and taking it up. And then consent is rad, respect is rad, trying to ensure that this community is even more accessible and welcoming. I respect that. And I returned to skateboarding in my 40s, but I had that foundation. So I had some back spasms or whatever. It was uncomfortable, but my ollies and sometimes my kick flips came back and all that. But to take it up, with like your career and family and all of that work, it's just, mind is blown. Deep respect for Indigo.
Yeah, she's amazing. I actually just met her. I did an interview with her, I think almost 2 years ago. But
Cool.
but I met with her in person. What was it? It was like a week ago or two weeks ago. Very recently. It was really nice. It was really cool to hang out with her. She's I don't know if you've ever met with her in person, but she's I don't know. She has a great energy. She's just very, she's just great. I don't know how to describe her, but she's just amazing. I really enjoyed the couple hours we spent chatting with her friend who was there as well. It was,
tune into that session of your podcast. That was good. And it was kind of frustrating because we were both at the Stoke Sessions event in San Diego, but both of our presentations were on at the same time, so we didn't get to see each other.
Oh, that's sad. Okay.
We met, but it was unfortunate.
You couldn't check out her presentation and vice versa. That sucks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But deep respect.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I have a few more from Michael. He said, describe a time when you thought, holy shit, I'm gonna die while riding your board.
I did almost die.
Oh, wow, really? Okay.
I won't get into too much detail, but last year, 2024, when I was at Slow Impact for the first time, I was limping around because I couldn't skate because I twisted my knee. It was like pretty minor, like I didn't even bruise or swell or anything, but I twisted my leg. I was limping, couldn't skate. And then it got worse and worse. I got this insane pain all through my calf muscle. Mm-hmm. I found out later that it was deep vein thrombosis.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
There's this giant blood clot, and I am stubborn, like, oh, pain, suck it up. Like, it was brutal pain. And then in March, I was stumbling around my driveway. My neighbor saw me, took me to the hospital. I had blood clots all through my lungs. I almost died. It was a pulmonary embolism, all because of like this random bail. I think I was skating in the winter and it was all icy on the skate park, but it was sunny and it was shadows and so I had these crazy blood clots. I wasn't allowed to skate for most of 2024. I was on blood thinners to get rid of the clots in my lungs. So apparently there's like a 1 in 10 chance like I could have died, and I laugh, but it's like
it must have been horrible to go through. I mean, God.
Crazy pain, but not quite what like Michael's scenario. I didn't bomb some hill, but it was
like a gnarly slam. But I mean, that's I don't know what's worse. I mean, that sounds horrible. What you just described. My God. Wow. Thank God you.
So
were
definitely
okay,
pay attention to your body, especially if you're older and maybe have my family has a history of blood clots. So yay.
Okay. He said also, what is one way public skate parks could be improved?
Just like I would say a variety of spaces for all abilities. In a small town skate park, like it is a battle with scooters, kids on scooters and parents sort of viewing the skate park as an extension of their kids learning to ride a bicycle, and you're just like, come on. A bit of a design would be nice. And I'm really lucky because our skate park is surrounded by forest. It's so beautiful, really, really lovely. But there's no actual kind of shade on the skate park. So that would be nice, just shade, water, climate change, like making sure skaters are staying hydrated. But that diversity of obstacles and space for people is maybe the tension would be a little bit less, because I've felt the tension. I'm never gonna like lash out at a kid, but kind of like, oh my gosh, this is agony. I just want to drop in.
Exactly. Is that skate park, is it close to where you're living? Because you were saying earlier that you live in a kind of remote kind of area, or like
there's still a core town, and it's a pretty sweet little park. There's like snake run, then there's this old like vintage kind of bathtub bowl,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
a few sort of very basic obstacles. Yeah, I wish there was an indoor. We briefly had an indoor mini ramp, but that's the person who owned it couldn't afford it, the rent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so otherwise, like, I'm stuck with, traveling to Vancouver. So that's my only option. It gets a little boring, but
Yeah.
like some
To go to Vancouver, do you drive? Is that the fastest way to get there?
Fastest way is a float plane, and it would take about half an hour, and it's gorgeous. Like, you're going along the ocean, over the mountains. It's so beautiful. But driving is...
Yeah, you said
takes
7 hours around there?
Yeah, depending on the ferries.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, beautiful. Especially if you're riding a motorbike. If you're ripping along those roads, those windy roads in your motorcycle. Oh, so good.
It must be nice. This one also for Michael. What do you despise most in this world?
Oh my gosh. The most thing that I despise in the world? Holy smokes.
Whatever
gosh.
comes to mind.
Yeah, it's just so devastating when there's greed that influences people's, right to live in safe situations. Like, it's just brutal. I'll get emotional when if I start thinking too political and globally, but yeah, that breaks my heart. And so I think I despise ignorance, greed, all of the phobias, homophobia, misogyny, intolerance, and a lack of humility. Like, just be humble, recognize that other people have value and talent, and I think there needs to be more humility in the world, and I'll stick with that.
Yeah, that's great. I agree 100%. He said also, what is the most disturbing thing you've encountered working at the library?
Ooh, so I did mention that, there was 4 years I worked in the downtown east side in Vancouver, and obviously, like, it's a tragic place. There's a lot of struggle. There's also a lot of beauty. So on the flip side, I'll start the best day ever at the library was when I got to take down a poster of a woman, an Indigenous woman who'd gone missing. And her uncle had traveled from the north of Canada down to the downtown east side in search of her. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine, a library patron who's also Indigenous, who's a big activist in regarding missing and murdered women, we got this poster together, plastered it across the community, and it was insane. She had posted also on her Facebook page, and they found her. She had run away to a different community, but she'd seen the post, she'd seen the call out, and I got to take, the poster down. And,
oh, wow.
And it, like, that does not happen. There's a real problem with that. And so, I got to take the poster down, and that was awesome. And then on the flip side, like, every day working at Carnegie is like, you see life and death, like, a lot of overdoses. So that was full on. But it was such a privilege to work there and be part of people's lives who are really struggling, but have, like, these incredible stories of overcoming adversity. Like, there was a lot of people who'd had, experienced sexual violence as children. And that was partly why they had struggles with addiction. But just getting to know their story of going through foster care, and, like, some of these people, you look at them and they're like, this one guy who was obsessed with Russian literature, like, to look at him, classic junkie, but, like, he found a refuge through literature. And I had a great chat with him. And, like, so actually, my worst day is when people assume things about that community or about that sector of our society. Like, sometimes, you work in the downtown east side? Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, like what's wrong with you, or why would you want to do that? Or
as if it was like a punishment, but, like, it was incredible. And so I have deep empathy for folks down there. So highs and lows, and I would still be there. It was 4 years. Vancouver is not an affordable place to live. So I moved up north, and I had a tiny apartment with my husband and now I can afford a home, like, with a garden.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah, so was an interesting journey, but it took a lot out of me too, though. So it was pretty intense work, but I'm grateful for that.
All right. I have a last one from Michael. He said, if you have a graffiti name, what would it be? And thank you for your service.
Oh, Michael. This is easy. I had a Hotmail account, my very first Hotmail. It was Fat Natty, PhatNatty, Fat Natty at Hotmail. Wow. It was like so cheesy, so funny. So yeah, that would definitely be my tag.
Perfect.
Oh man, thanks go. Michael for putting me on the spot. Dang.
All right, let's do this next one.
Hi Natalie, it's Skate Rosie here. First off, thank you for your passion and ongoing dedication and educating us all on the history of women's skateboarding. This has been amazing to witness, so keep it up. My question to you is, do you have any funny stories you want to share about any interviews you had while doing your research? By the way, the research seems like a full-time job, eh? So spill the tea, Natalie.
Yay, Rosie! Oh my gosh! Oh, privilege to know Rosie. Holy smokes! I actually entered a contest in my 40s because she hosts Stop, Drop, and Roll for women and non-binary skaters, and actually 10th anniversary coming up for her event, and Nation Skate Youth going strong. Just integrity, and she also juggles different roles and jobs, so it's super bud. Funny story during an interview. You know what? It's like sometimes I think I've heard it all. And I'm just kind of like, okay, she in 1970s, this woman, Beth Fishman, she beat out all the boys at her contest and got some promo in a magazine, like kind of end of story. And I think I know what's coming next. But you get these like crazy surprises, like, interviewing Beth. And then she ended up telling me this hilarious story about how she ended up on this children's TV show, and the musical guest was Patti Smith. Like Patti Smith, the like iconic, with punk rocker, and they hit it off. Like she spent the entire day with Patti, and she's like, I think 10 years old. And there's this moment where Patti Smith asks Beth, what else do you like to do besides skateboarding? And little Beth turns to Patti and was like, I like writing poetry. She said that to Patti Smith, and then Patty's like, well, come out to my limo. And Patti gave her like handwritten poems. Oh, wow. And it was crazy because it wasn't until like Beth was in her 40s or 50s or something that she realized like, oh my God, I was like talking poetry with Patti Smith. Wow. And so just like, never assume you're going to get this like straight up answer about skateboarding. There's just, that killed me, especially as a librarian. Like I love Patti Smith and all of her amazing books she's put out. So I was like, my jaw just dropped. I died. It was so good.
That's awesome. Super cool. Well, I'm not going to say anything. I'll just play you this next question.
Hey, Natalie. Beth Fishman here from Seattle. How you doing?
What?
I have a question for you, and it is, what did you discover in the process of building the website that you were surprised to find out, that you didn't expect to learn? I'm really curious if something like that popped up. It could be something about yourself or just what the process was like, the people you interviewed. Love to know. Hope you're doing well. Thanks.
Are you kidding me?
That's funny. You were just talking about her, and I had planned to do this question right after. So,
wow, that was a fabulous interview, and you know what? Actually, that's a big part of it. Finding these mentors, these older women. Like Beth still skates. Yeah, she hits up the park, and like Amy Bradshaw. Like I didn't actually expect to make friends. I serve a purpose, putting up these bios, being a nerd and stuff, and just finding these mentors and like how I want to be as I get older. Like I'm 47 and I hope to keep skating, and like that there's a place for me in skateboarding that I'm still respected, because I think part of why I wasn't sort of comfortable skating in my 30s, like I felt this expectation when I went to a park in Vancouver, like, oh, people know me, like they know I was maybe more competent when I was younger. You kind of just feel no one cares, but you're like,
yeah,
and it's also your own little mind games, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm not progressing anymore. Like you just kind of get down, but it's so stupid. Like it really is about the joy of getting out and skating. So yeah, a big part of creating the website is just finding more senior women that are killing it, or return to skateboarding or taking it up later in life. And that keeps me going. And some of them are posting footage on Instagram, and you're like, hell yes. That's not my thing. I don't really like filming myself, but I like to get inspired before I go for a session. And so that's been a really special part of creating the website. And it's now become very personal. Like I'm invested in all of their lives. She's got amazing artwork, by the way. She's fantastic artist, like glassblower and visual artist. I highly recommend.
Checking her. Absolutely.
So cool.
All right, let's see. This one is from Kim Adrian. So let's see. She said, what is the coolest adventure you have experienced so far since you have started developing women's skate history?
Oh my gosh, Kim. I'm going to lose it. Like another person. I'm just so impressed with, because, her skateboarding back in the late 70s, just ripping in bowls and pools and like not really caring about the scene and fitting in. And oh my gosh, we had so much fun. Yeah, that was another fun interview. But so as far as adventures, actually, I got to go to New York last summer. There was, this is so nerdy. There's a zine librarian conference. So librarians love zines. They love collecting zines. They love building zine collections. That repeating myself. Whoa. So there's a conference, and I got to go to New York. And because I was part of the conference, I got permission to explore their reference collection of zines. And I got there, I think it was at Columbia Library, and this box of zines was all set out for me in advance. Like I requested them, and I just felt like, I've come into my own. Here I was researching. I'm a librarian, and then I presented at the conference, and a bunch of folks in New York who were skaters came. I think I was the only librarian presentation that had outsiders come in. There was these rogue skaters that were at the event. I had a blast in New York, and that would not have happened if I hadn't found this, this niche area to study and collect and celebrate. So that was a recent adventure that was unexpected and just a cool opportunity. And actually it worked out perfect because that role with Smithsonian, I actually got to travel down by train.
I was going to mention that. Sorry to cut you off, but I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that.
It's been really neat. Betsy Gordon. So she's the author of Four Wheels and a Board, sort of highlighting the Smithsonian's collection. We met at Stoke Sessions in San Diego and just totally hit it off. Super fun. And then she was explaining that they wanted to create sort of a traveling exhibit of various items in the Smithsonian collection. So there's been some delays in terms of funding, and then I think there's some struggles at the Smithsonian related to Trump and whatnot. So I'm confident it will still happen, and we're still doing a lot of Zoom meetings. And there's it's a pretty hardcore crew, this advisory board. It's Ted Barrow, Sean Cliver, Neftali Williams, Jim Fitzpatrick, and then myself.
Wow.
And when Betsy invited me out, I've gone to Washington twice now to sort of brainstorm and go through their collection and sort of hash out what the exhibit might look like. I was so intimidated that who am I to be sitting at the table with these dudes? It was crazy, but they were really welcoming, and I just babbled away about skateboarders and had a good time. So it's another just wonderful opportunity to feel validated by that institution. That's heavy. Smithsonian, dang.
Yeah, it's serious. Yeah.
So cool. yeah, lots of adventures, unexpected, and I'm grateful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, again, I'll play this next.
Hey, Natalie, it's Betsy. Here's a question for you. In all the research that you've done and all the female skaters that you've covered and interviewed, what is the one thing that hasn't changed? I mean, we're thinking about 7 decades here from the 60s to today. Is there one thing that really still hasn't changed? And then the flip side of that is, what is the biggest thing that you think has changed in the narrative? Thanks so much, Natalie. Love the work you do. Bye.
You're lining this up. This is just
It's funny. It just makes sense.
Wow. Oh, Betsy, deep gratitude for her, because pushing skateboarding in an institution like that, she's legendary. Holy smokes. Well, one thing, it still kind of grates on me. There's a certain amount of the boys club and some gatekeeping that happens in skateboarding industry. It is male dominated, but and that's hard, because that's companies, that's the media, that's like with Norma trying to get
going to the
press
Olympics.
pass, the Olympics. There's still kind of hurdles that you have to kind of overcome, and it's wonderful. Toy Machine's got multiple female skaters on part of their roster. It's become more normalized, and I love to see that, because I think it just builds strength in the community. I do get nervous sometimes, when there's there's highs and lows in the industry, and then when things tank, when things get tough, I do worry that sometimes the first kind of thing to get cut is the ads featuring female skaters. We'll cut those. They only want to see the top pros, or it gets eliminated, and that's definitely happened with the 70s to 80s, and the 90s was brutal. A few risk takers that went for it, but I do worry if we are coming towards difficulties in recessions. Who knows, that could be a knee-jerk reaction to sort of pull back on being inclusive. So I'm watching to see. But I'm just grateful, though, that there are more opportunities for visibility. Some people poo-poo on the Olympics, but you know what? It has it's shown young girls oh, this is for me.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
Arissa True, I've got a hero. And there's no sense of that it's not for them. Well, before it was this is for boys. What are you doing? Girls don't skate. The girls can't skate. So that's fabulous that it's this visual representation of acceptance, and I love it.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. This one, let's see.
Hi Natalie, my favorite skateboarder. Before I ask my question, you have to guess who I am. We were both at the Slam City Jam in Vancouver in 1997, but we didn't meet. We skated at the same skate parks around that time, but we never ran into each other. Last year we had a great conversation, but again, never talked to each other. Who am I? Anyway, my question. You stopped skateboarding in 2008, but thanks to your husband, you returned to it in 2020. Because he bought you a Vanessa Torres Meow board. I use this as an analogy for my question. If you had to pick one male person that has done the most for female skateboarding, who would it be and why?
You're killing me. This is, oh my gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
This is Michele from Backside Skate Mag.
Oh, yay!
Michele Addelio, I think is his last name, yeah.
Totally. Oh, and gratitude. Yeah, he put out a really thoughtful interview. We were, back and forth on email. Oh my gosh. Yeah, never heard his voice. That's so cool.
I thought it was fun, the way he kind of teased who it might be, yeah.
And I have one correction. It was a Mariah Duran meow board that.
That's your husband bought you? Okay.
I have a Vanessa Torres.
Yeah, right now. Okay. Yeah, you mentioned it earlier.
There's Mariah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, man. So he wants a...
So if you had to pick one meow person that has done the most for female skateboarding, who would it be and why?
I've already spoken about Lisa, given her plenty of talk. So, Vanessa, I just was so delighted when I saw the video Getting Nowhere Faster. Back in, I guess it was 2004 that it came out. It was a Villa Cola production with help from Element Skateboarders, which Vanessa was sponsored by.
Right.
And 411 Video Magazine, so Villa Cola. But yeah, she had personality. And I think because Lisa was posting all these cool little video blogs and stories about Vanessa and Amy, they were kind of twins in a sense. You kind of felt like you had these friends. Like, even if you were isolated somewhere, like, there was these cool, fun girls that were out ripping around and, like, just having a blast. And it kind of gave you a vision of what it could be. Like, what, if you persevered or if you met up with other girls, like, they just, so dynamic and energetic. And, got sponsored and killing it on the skateboard, obviously, but just that level of fun personality and the person that you wanted to have as a friend. I have never met Vanessa. I think I'd be so nervous. I'm slowly getting into the 90s and 2000s with my bios. I'm not totally there yet, but it's happening. But that was...
you need to talk to her for sure,
seeing footage of her and very impactful for sure.
All right, this one is from Indigo Willing. So she said, if you were to have a weekly column in Thrasher, who would be 3 people who come to mind that you would cover and why?
Indigo and Thrasher is always on me. I should say, like, I am writing a column from Closer Skateboarding Magazine. Thanks to Jamie Owens. So, thank you to him, because that was a very kind opportunity.
I wanted to ask you, by the way, because I did read the first piece you did with them for the last issue. I think it was issue 10 or 11. I don't remember.
Yes.
Who did you cover for this new issue that's just coming out right now?
Yes, the last one was Cindy Pendergrast, and this one is Kim Adrian. Who
who I got a question from. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So if I had, ThrasherCon, like, I think it's a slightly different audience. Like, I feel like Closer, there's maybe an older,
nerdier,
a bit of nostalgia, a bit of, intellectual. So I'd want to do some gritty skaters, like Jean Rusin, Calamity Jean. She's pretty gritty. She's pretty punk rock. Cindy Gorsett, she was also kind of punk rock Seattle skater in the 90s. Another punk. Third one. Oh man, maybe I just give a shout out to Michele again, just because, like, she's just been such a huge
instrumental.
Yeah, like, actually it was in 2019. She was lined up an article for me to write an article on history of women skateboarders in British Columbia, the province where we live in Canada. And I hadn't been writing about skateboarding for such a long time. And she lined this up, and I actually got paid to write something. And back in the day, we'd had Idlewood Zine, which was made at Antisocial, a bunch of skater, biker, like, cool kids that were part of that. And actually, Idlewood was reviewed in Thrasher. I think it was like in early days. So I think I could pull in her for a little feature. she's got street cred.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I try to, like, cater to the Thrasher's punk history.
Yeah. And it's awesome that I love that you're doing this, that you're working with Closer, basically, that you're going to be having a piece in every new issue, hopefully. Yeah, that's looking forward to that next one on Kim Adrian. Do you already know who you're going to cover for the next one, or is it not yet decided?
Yeah, sometimes like there's maybe a little bit of a theme. Like, I kind of got a heads up that there was going to be Shiloh and Georgia on the cover, and so I was thinking about photography and women being featured. So maybe there'll be a new theme, but at this point I'm not totally sure. But I wanted to make it a little different than just the bios I write on the website, just some weaving in some other history element, making it personal, just fun for me.
Yeah, sure. Okay, this one is from Anita Sanford, Tessenson Sanford.
Anita Tessenson.
Yes,
Powell
Tessenson.
Peralta. Yes.
So she said, do you have any long-term goals or bigger vision for women's skateboard history? And who are you currently researching for the archive?
Oh, wow. Well, I should give shout out to Anita. She's actually on the cover of my book. She's one of the two skaters that's featured. Just so influential, like her role with Powell Peralta and the iconic ad that she was in with Leaf Treenan, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, right now, so I'm definitely pushing the book, on the website, on Instagram. But who am I researching right now? I just did a post on a company called Poot and their zine Foxy. So I was thinking, who else could I do? I really want to get into Riot Girls as a movement during the 90s that was kind of inspirational for 90s skaters, just because they also had zines. They were also within this punk kind of male-dominated scene, sort of doing it themselves. And I think I'll probably do Patty Segovia next. I've got tons of content on her, so it's kind of a little bit overwhelming, but Patty initiated the all-girls skate jam in 97, just kind of sick and tired of being excluded from these World Cup events, creating our own contest. So there's a lot of content, and I want to do it well. I want to show some respect. So there's some people that take a little bit longer than others, but that one's got to be done. It's got to be done.
Yeah. So when do you expect that one when do you expect to release it, to publish it? Yeah.
Oh, it's all spontaneous. Whenever I usually try to put out one a week, one every 2 weeks. I'm way behind on Instagram. I sometimes post on the website, make sure that it's, all legit. I'll try to reach out to the individual to go through it. There's typos. I'm writing pretty spontaneously, but so it takes a lot of time before I eventually share it out on Instagram. But yeah, Patty's on my list. Oh, there's a few. I feel like not a burden, but just I gotta get it out there.
You've got work to do, yeah.
yeah. But it's always on the side, of work, of real money making it work. So
yeah. And how much time does it usually take you in a regular week? How much time do you usually dedicate to working on women's skate history on average?
On average, it's most evenings. I'm pretty much always dabbling away, just going down wormholes. Right now, I'm really lucky because I have a job that I'm a remote librarian. This is insane. So I have a position. Okay. I worked in a library for 17 years, and then I've got this gig with the British Columbia Library Association. So I'm the provincial professional development coordinator. I curate training for librarians. So it's a 2-year contract. I think it'll be extended. So I do have quite a bit of time now. I maybe work 28 hours of this job, and then I can make if I get obsessed with something in the middle of the day, I can just do deep dive and just go for it, and then I'll extend my work day.
Okay.
It's great.
Yeah.
I am so fortunate with this job.
That's awesome. Yeah. You can kind of schedule your week however you want, kind of, and squeeze in time to work on women's skate history throughout the day, and
Exactly. And my boss is very supportive. It's a dream come true. It is so cool.
Do they know about your work on women's skate history?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty funny. I think they're pretty stoked.
Yeah. All right. I have just 2 last ones. Let's see.
Hey, Natalie. Wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your book that's coming out this September. Many of the stories you've highlighted have such a rich and interesting context within skate culture. Many of the women also were musicians or artists. Wondering if you could highlight some of those stories that might come to mind right now in terms of how they affect the culture we're in at this point in time.
Can you give me a hint?
Well, you mentioned this person at least once, and she has a hard to pronounce last name, and I don't even want to give it a try. I'll give you the initials of the last name. It's VR. The full name is JVR.
Oh, Jessie!
Yes.
Jessie, man!
Yes.
Yeah, Jessie. Yeah, we've had a good time connecting at Slow Impact, and yeah, I'm just so in awe of Jessie. Actually, at Slam City Jam when I was a frozen goat, I remember she encouraged me to keep skating during my run because I was just like stunned. Yeah, so the book coming out in September. This is crazy. So we had Jen Sookfong Lee, my editor, and she actually encouraged me to. It is first person. It is not just purely like the skate bios. It's kind of, yeah, backstory of how and why I'm doing this and being a librarian. And because like these women have impacted me. Like it's been a healing process, like some of the women I've spoken to. So so that's also why I feel a little nervous about the book, because I'm a little bit vulnerable in it.
Sure.
Yeah, so maybe some people won't expect that. Maybe they won't like it. I don't know, because it's not just raw, cool women. There's commentary. Mm-hmm. So, and then the second part with context and culture and all of those elements. Actually, I was just thinking of Joanne Gillespie. So she was the second editor of Equal Time Zine, which was started by Lynn Kramer. So around the early 90s. And her nickname is Rock Mom. So she's like a badass musician and singer, and I think part of the Vans Warped Tour in the 90s, she was in charge of the music that was part of it. And there was like a women's kind of extreme kind of demonstration of skaters. And she was like breastfeeding and skateboarding and like promoting the music at the same time. Like just, women. Amazing, just juggling it all. And there's a few individuals like that who just, live their life with passion and next level. Oh yeah, I'd probably include her in that Thrasher feature too. That would make sense. Yeah, and there's so many creative people. Like I think of Lori Damiano, part of Villa Cola, an artist who was part of the zine. And now I'm confident you've seen her work. She's contributed to like Enjoy and like Crux Trucks. I think she's done so many cool designs. Like I love that about skateboarding, that it sort of appeals to these countercultural individuals who just so cool. Yeah, that's another person. I still haven't finished my Lori D bio. Got to do that one too. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I have a very last one.
Yes.
Hi, Natalie. This is Kyle Beachy. I am, as you know, a big fan of your forthcoming book, which is an extremely valuable document, extremely well-researched. And my question for you is just, what's the biggest surprise that you encountered during that research? What did you find that was, for you, the most unexpected kind of story or person or trend in all of the research that you did? Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Kyle Beachy, if you haven't read his book, huge mentor. He was one of the persons that read my book early on and encouraged that author reading test run at Slow Impact. So so grateful to him. And the final surprise. So I think maybe because it was a personal journey and I've included myself. You know what? I had to edit that. If you read the first couple drafts, I was pretty intense. And I say it's okay to be angry. I've had some trauma in my past, and which was kind of hard to get through. And so I think the biggest surprise is finding that there's others. It's obvious. Of course, someone else has kind of gone through something, sort of a Me Too type experience. And the person I'm thinking of is Jana Payne. I've talked about her probably before, but she won the Skateboarding Hall of Fame award. She got up on stage and shared hey, the reason I left skateboarding was because I was groomed by a person in the industry, and her process of getting through it, and she's so courageous to have got on stage and said, I just didn't disappear, the 70s to the 80s, like, the industry collapsed. It wasn't that. Like, she'd gone through this hardcore trauma as a young person, and
needed to step away.
I talk with her at least once a month. Like, we call each other. Yeah, she's this person of such resilience. Another artist, imagine that. Mm-hmm. And so I think finding an older person to talk to is it's so special.
Yeah.
That was unexpected, and I think I've definitely mellowed, or at least put some of my own experiences into perspective as well, and and less kind of maybe defensive. Like, I'm pretty approachable. I'm a pretty nice person. But there's some things that, like, I can get, like, upset about. And,
of course, yeah.
Yeah, and I think talking through with someone who's older is really important. So, what a pleasure. Like, obviously this is not a money-making endeavor or anything, but, like, I feel like I've scored. I feel rich. I feel fulfilled.
Yeah,
like,
rich in other ways. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and I hope in turn, like, the women seem pretty stoked when I find them and celebrate them. So I think it is reciprocal.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, definitely check out Jana's post. She's a special one, and she's my final chapter in the book. Like, when it comes home for me. So thanks Kyle for all the support. It's a good question to sort of wrap it up with. I love it.
Well, yeah, that wraps it up. Yeah, thank you so much, Natalie. Yeah, this was awesome.
Right on.
Thank you for your time and for sharing a little bit of your journey with this whole project. It's amazing. Yeah, long live Women's Skate History.
Thanks, and likewise with the podcast. Persevere. Keep going.
I will. That's it for my conversation with Natalie. Follow her on Instagram at Women's Skate History. That's WOMXN SK8 History. Check out her website, womenskatehistory.ca, to deep dive into all the rad and inspiring stories she's been collecting over the last few years. And of course, don't forget to order a copy of her book, Girl Gangs, Zines and Powerslides, The History of Badass Women Skateboarders, coming out September 16th at ECW Press. Thank you for tuning in. See you soon for a new episode of Beyond Board.